right, I have not been on live in forever. Ooh. All right. Hello, hello, welcome in. What is the message here for the collective? What is the message here for the collective? I'm seeing nurturing and compassion with closed off and guarded. Somebody could be closed off, guarded, needing some type of nurturing energy or compassion, whether this is from other people or from themselves. Maybe they just need time to heal and everything. Maybe they need a better days. Okay. What is the message here for the collective? Yin and yang could be very significant. Forming structure or a solid foundation could be significant. It is currently 11:59 a.m. Today is June 23rd. It's a Tuesday. All right. Thank you so much for double tapping the screen. We are about to get into a collective message. Please only take what resonates for you. Every message may not be for you. I could be confirming things that you already know. And as well, tapping into some fortune telling. All right, we got the thoughts. Somebody in their thoughts. Somebody in them thoughts. Earth sign energy could be significant towards Capricorn and or Virgo. An apology could be significant. Some type of self-love, self-care could be going on. Okay. Yeah, heavy on the guardedness. All right, so these are the cards that I had seen that it came out. The first two cards that I had seen was nurture, compassion. This is what somebody could be doing to themselves or others, or it could be encouraged. Especially with this closed off, guarded energy. Somebody could still be a nurturing, compassionate individual, even in the space of being closed off, guarded, and resistant. But the resistant energy, when I called that out, it kind of seems a bit... If the energy is in the space of being resistant, then that means it's like resisting. So I wouldn't necessarily say that this nurturing and compassionate energy is still hand in hand, but it really all depends. None of these came out in the reverse, so that's why I'm not really saying it in the reverse. But at the same time, take what resonates for your life, all right? A lot of things can also be timeless, right? A timeless reading. This reading can resonate in the future. Whether that's 2 days from now, 2 years from now, several months from now. All right, we got thoughts and isolating. I feel like somebody is isolating, feeling isolated, possibly because they're in their head, or maybe something about someone's thoughts could be significant. I feel like this forming structure, foundation energy could be the advice, as well as some nurturing and some compassion, building something, a solid foundation within something. Okay, we got deception and temptation on the back of the deck, and then limitations and fears. So someone's fears could be significant, someone's past trauma, or maybe the energy of deception and temptation. All right, let's see. This song, channel song, it's called Happy. It's by Ashanti. It's currently 1:23 on the clock, 12:03. Infinite potential, unlimited possibilities, new beginnings, duality, creativity, creating. Okay, so what is this closed off, guarded resistance energy here? Somebody is doubting. They're experiencing some type of lack, maybe within their heart chakra as well. This person is wearing green. They're also outside into nature, but it's very cloudy as well. Maybe confusion could be a thing, a storm, because it also looks like it's about to pour down, raining. It's dark clouds, birds in the back, possibly, you know, usually when it rains, birds go, I don't want to say north, but they go somewhere so that they don't get rained on, or whatever the case may be. We got self-worth and expectations. So somebody could be in this closed off, guarded, resistant energy because they doubt something, right? So maybe it's the energy like, I'm kind of guarded because, you know, I'm kind of resistant, kind of closed off. Maybe because somebody experienced some type of deception, temptation, betrayal before, now, maybe in the future. Confirm the nurture and compassion energy. Code could be significant, CO. We got transcendence and unity. Yeah, I feel like this needs to be implemented into somebody's routine, life, relationship. Confirm thoughts and isolating. We got remember and awakening. Thoughts, at times it could be a good place and it could be a terrible place, right? Maybe isolation helps remember something, come into some type of awakening. Maybe somebody realizes something as they're in their thoughts in isolation. Or maybe somebody is encouraged to remember. Or maybe something is going to, somebody could be experiencing an awakening. Sometimes awakenings don't really feel the best, you know. Sometimes you're on this path of feeling like confused, isolating yourself, whatever the case may be. But that's because something is being formed, something is building, or maybe it's just going to take, you know, some building and maybe even some patience. Some exactness, so that these don't come tumbling over, right? So this could be tied to anything. This could be tied to one's stability, harmony, going with the flow in life. And you know, these different things can be within self, within relationships. Like, you know, it doesn't have to be too specific. It can be in any area of one's life, right? We got party and external. An actual party or celebration could be significant, or maybe third parties. Third parties can be even thoughts. It could be people. It could be different things. Now, the next channel song is called Bittersweet by Naomi Sharon. So we got happy and we got bittersweet. Maybe something is like bittersweet. All right, I hope everybody is doing well. Feel free to comment your feedback. A furnace. Taurus, Capricorn, and or Virgo. Or the energy of Earth, which is like grounding, groundedness, calm, sensuality, stability, nature. Even you want to go a little deeper, healing, you know, that's what I feel. That's my intuition. We got receive and open on the back. Maybe somebody got to be open to receive. You know, if you kind of closed off and guarded, you know, you already lack something. You lack the opposite of doubts. Somebody is full of doubts. They lack the opposite of doubts. Or they're experiencing some type of lack within self. You know, the scarcity mindset type thing. So if somebody's already experiencing some type of lack within self, that can shift into other areas. If somebody has a scarcity mindset within one area, I'm sure it can be in another one. Oh, like, nah, I doubt that happened. Somebody doubt being a millionaire. They'll probably doubt coming into a relationship that can actually go far, right? Like, these things can exist in any area. If somebody has fear, a fear of being hurt, a fear of being deceived, then I'm sure they could possibly have a fear of going after their dreams, being seen, you know, whatever the case may be. So, of course, it always starts with self, building that foundation within self, turning those weaknesses into strengths. And then for a lot of you guys, if this is talking about a relationship outside of self, then that's when it'll be a little bit more harmonious when you come together, because each individual, they're still on their own individual journey, learning, navigating. We all have different belief systems. Therefore, the way we perceive things, interpret things, whatever the case may be. A lot of us are carrying around unresolved emotions, therefore trauma, whatever the case may be, right? Put in the air. Somebody could be 420 friendly. Maybe that's where the real peace be. But I'm telling you, hey, go to the beach, go out, you know, and where the trees and the woods or whatever. Somebody like, I can instantly, with this energy of instantly giving woods. Oh, nah, baby, ain't no woods for me. But see, you know what I'm saying? But hey, this is not to blame self or to make whatever the case may be. A lot of people come into certain fears and other energies because of their experiences. But that's why when something happens right in there, just nip it in the bud, validate your feelings, bring yourself enlightenment about whatever it may be, because then it's going to be a memory, it's going to become the past or whatever the case may be, and that can turn into something that you haven't fully resolved yet. Just like things that happened 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, depending on how old you are, right? If you do age and stuff, because I know a lot of people, they don't, some people believe in God, some people don't, some people, yeah, everybody's different. So I'm just, you know, taking resonates for you, trying to be as biased, read the cards, pick them on, you know, intuitively. And that's pretty much what I'm seeing. It's pretty much the message that I'm getting. We got seeds in spring, planting seeds. You know, this could be literal seeds, a garden, whatever the case may be, pregnancy. This can also be a metaphor, right? The seeds eventually are going to sprout, they're going to grow, right? Into possibly something that you're aiming for, a goal, right? Plant seeds, get the goal. Maybe somebody could be striving to this. It could be encouraged, especially, yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. Okay, let's see what tarot has to say. Get you high. Okay, so I'm using the Twin Flame Awakened Path Tarot deck, and the oracles that I'm using is the Yin Yang Oracle. Fire Girl? No, Fire Boy. Water Girl? Something like that. That was like a game kids used to play on computers, laptops. But I mean, it could be anything. Hell, some people may think of Sub-Zero and Scorpion, child, or may just think of the elements: fire, water, or just the yin yang energy. You know, that's what I mean by just take messages how they resonate for you. I try to be as biased as I can, but we got the Seven of Pentacles. We just got done talking about that harvest or planting on seeds, you know, being patient when it comes to whatever this is that is growing, that whatever it is that you're sprouting, whatever rewards that you are awaiting or wanting or yearning for, whatever the case may be. Look, Page of Cups, Seven of Cups. We got dreamer and naive, innocence, inner child, head in the clouds. This can literally be planting seeds of, ooh, or this can actively be going on. Little do somebody know. Like, you know how life, you just be maneuvering through life when you so zoomed into the 3D plane, right? That's what exists to you. The problems, the this, the things that are probably not even that important, right? But I mean, we determine what's important every day, or in a more sense, based on our beliefs, thoughts, whatever the case may be. Beliefs mainly. Because what you believe in is like extremely powerful. You know how people, they believe in religion, you know, there's Christians, and that's like wholeheartedly a part of them, you know. So beliefs are really like powerful, you know. Some people believe in, you know, that beliefs and knowing are two separate things, and that beliefs can actually be not necessarily factual or true all the time, just something that one believes in. Other people disregard, probably don't care nothing about what they saying. That ain't the case for them, whatever, you know. That's what I mean. So angel number 2 must definitely be seen for this collective. 222, maybe you've seen it, but I can see a 333 on here for sure. 111, 11, 107. I know 107, no, that's 106 in part. That's a, but 107 could be significant. January 7, July 10. Okay, but flowers, seeing somebody with wine, maybe wine tasting, smelling, whatever, it could be significant. Okay, awakenings, unity, transcendence, doubts, somebody resisting or being closed off, guarded. What is this person resisting? Okay, let's see. We got nurture and compassion here. Thoughts, isolating. Earth signs. Okay. Earth. Okay, stability. Oh, this is backwards. The color purple could be significant. Green. Okay. And I was thinking earlier when I was saying the day of the week, Tuesday, that some people go based off like their chakras, right? So maybe some start from the bottom, maybe some start from the top, but as you know, the crown will be at the top, and then next, of course, the third eye. So either this is third eye chakra day, or it's more of at the bottom is there's the root, and then it goes up, I think, to the solar plexus. No, sacral chakra. It's probably the sacral chakra. So it will be either it's a solar plexus, solar plexus sacral chakra day, or it's a third eye day, but it's probably a sacral. Depending on who goes based off, you know, whatever the case may be. Some people, they into astrology, numerology, different stuff. So for those who are into chakras or believe in chakras, then it's like some about the days of the week is an expression of the each of your 7 chakras, whatever you want to call them, if that resonates for you, in case you didn't know. Yeah, angel number 1, 2. Yeah, we literally say 0, 1, 2, 3 angel number earlier. Okay, water. So somebody could be an earth sign who could come off as emotional, who could come off as just being in their head. Somebody's just in their head. They got to get out that head. There could be things happening, great things, huge things, big things. Maybe somebody is transcending, coming into union with self, or it could be with another. It could be both. Some solid foundation could be getting created. It could be encouraged if it's not already. We got remember and awakening. And then this looks like an eye, kind of. The sun is significant. I know divinity holy, something. Light and dark for sure could be significant. Okay, I feel like somebody most definitely just need to love themselves through these times. Something. Queen of Pentacles on the back. Behind that is the Ten of Swords. Yeah, so somebody could be experiencing a death and rebirth. This could be a time of release. Let go. Maybe somebody has experienced the death and here's the rebirth, or however it unfolds. But I just seen the death card. Scorpio energy, transformation. That's what I was supposed to be reading earlier, the earth energy. So Taurus is grounded, sensual energy. Virgo is highly detailed and about capability. And Capricorn is about responsibility and discipline, or at least it represents that. Now, earth energy overall, those are the zodiac signs of the earth sign element. Now, earth element ties to duty, security, and pragmatic, amongst many other things. You know, we all have our different knowledge on things, or what we feel is significant to something. So whatever could resonate for you as well, you know. This is called Dynasty by MIIA. Her whole name is capitalized. Okay, and now Scorpio energy ties to transformation and secretive. And secretive doesn't always have to be in like a deceptive way. It could just be hidden knowledge or whatever the case may be. Purposely, not purposely. Yeah, and then I look down and I see Pisces, time to deep emotions and intuitive, which I feel like is still significant. On the side of that would be Aquarius, time to independent and idealistic. Now, let's go ahead and confirm these with tarot, or get more information on it. All right, thank you guys for getting me to almost 6K likes. I appreciate that. We currently are at 1221. Angel number 944, 943. Angel number 345, 5, 6, 7. Wait. Yeah, 7, 8, 9. That's what I kind of meant to say. Hello, welcome back in. Thank you for double tapping the screen. Alright. Confirm this Ace Earth energy. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Just because. Ooh, the World. Fixed sign energy. Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo, Taurus. Leo energy is tying to heart-centered and leadership. Ooh, growth most definitely could be significant. And then reminding me of the Seven of Pentacles, that's literally the energy of growing or growth or whatever the case may be. Now, the World is usually the ending of a chapter, closing out a cycle, a completion of a cycle. All right, it can also tie to achievement. And yeah, closing cycles, completion, things like that. It can also tie to travel. So this is the Earth energy. Now, when I think more of Earth, especially getting this energy, you think of literally Earth, the 3D plane. So just life, your world, your reality, rather than just Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, but those things can still be significant, right? There go that Ten of Swords again, a painful ending. So maybe somebody could be resisting something due to, you know, pain. We did talk about resisting pain earlier. That was just something I was just picking up, boom. But now as I just continue like thinking more, I'm like, this most definitely is giving either resisting closing out something, or even, it really all depends. I wouldn't necessarily say resisting closing out because the world isn't upright, but what was I saying prior? I was talking about. All right, tell me more about this. So So the major arcana is the world. The minor arcanas are like the day-to-day things, like the Ten of Swords we've seen. So somebody's day-to-day could be, you know, just they grieving, or they're hurt, or they're experiencing some type of pain. Defeat and failure is here. Bitterness and betrayal is here. Exhaustion, collapse, and giving up can also be keywords to the Ten of Swords. 1 out of 7 could resonate for you. You know, 7 out of 7 can resonate. Just take it how it resonates. These are just different energies. But the overall energy, when I first learned what this energy was, Ten of Swords ties to defeat. No. Endings. At this point, look, my brain, okay? But painful endings for sure. So day-to-day, painful endings. Now, the major arcana is like the huge, like, events, something that can be transformational, or, you know, whatever the case may be. Now, maybe the Ten of Swords led to the world energy, or the Ten of Swords could still be in the present energy in the world, just like overall, like where somebody is right now. So somebody could be closing out a cycle, or 2 or 3. Coming to some type of completion successfully, achievement. Maybe this is what they feel. Energy number 21. Somebody could be in their 20s, early 20s. Or something about someone's early 20s, or when they were 21 could be significant. Angel number 212 could be significant. One, two, one. High Priestess, hidden knowledge. Hi, welcome back in. Thank you so much for the gifts and for double tapping the screen. Okay, it says intuition and mysterious. I feel like we're talking about somebody's, of course, life, reality, world, but maybe the way that they're operating in it. First person point of view. Somebody could be operating in High Priestess energy. Or this could be a time to trust in one's intuition. I feel like somebody just needs to remember something. Maybe remember an awakening they had. Maybe they're coming into an awakening. Maybe they're on that path. Maybe they've already experienced some type of awakening. Maybe they're on this death and rebirth journey, experience, whatever the case may be. But confirm this lack and doubts. Yeah, that's the defeat energy. 5 of Swords. When I said defeat, and I meant like endings or whatever I was saying earlier, I was thinking of this energy. But to y'all, it probably looked like I was just like... but it was like going on. So I was just like, at this point... you know, but 5 of Swords, defeat energy. It ties to aggression and disputes, bullying and stress, conflict and arguments. Literally. So I feel like somebody's experience of this pushed them in like this energy of doubt, or in some type of lack. Maybe they lacked experiencing some type of love from everybody else besides themselves as well. They could be still thinking about whatever this was, or it could have literally like caused some type of trauma. Maybe somebody when they were like preteen, you know, 21 opposite is 12. Preteen years. Yeah, the page was just out here, and that ties to a childlike energy. That can be new experiences, being inexperienced. It could be a message of some sort. That was cup energy, so it could be emotional expression, or it could be whatever the case may be, a message of something. Relationships, love, emotions, creativity is the cup energy. That's the emotions side of things, relationship side of things, whatever. So the page energy is the messenger. Okay, represents angel number 10. No, 11. It really doesn't represent a number. I say 11 because literally it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Page of Swords, not Page of Swords, but page, knight, queen, king. So they're not necessarily numbers, but when I see it sometimes I'll call out the number 11. But what was I mentioning about that page energy again? Oh yeah, the childlike energy. So it could be a literal child or like a childlike energy, you know, childish, childlike, inexperienced, whatever. So this could be your energy. It could be other people's energy. It could be both. Some of y'all, this message does not have to be for you. This is a collective. It's not a personal reading. If you do want to get a personal reading, the list is open. Nobody is currently on the list. We got Leo here. Strength. Time to courage, confidence, and inner power. Yes. So I feel like somebody is encouraged to build this. Or maybe they are actively building this, even if they don't see the results. I feel like, of course, you're going to see the results when at the end. Okay? That's how that goes. So as you're building, as you're planting seeds, which does not probably look like something that can be fulfilled in one day. You know, they base things off, okay, this is a day, this is a month, this is a year. I feel like it's just an experience, just whatever. No time involved. But time could be significant for you. It could be significant for you. I'm just talking about what I'm saying. Like what I'm seeing, like, you know. 10 of Pentacles, I'm looking over here. I don't know if I accidentally dropped this card or what. 10 of Pentacles in the reverse. So usually in the upright with this card it says family and legacy, inheritance, foundations, higher commitment. It's in the reverse, which can tie to bankruptcy. You know, this pentacle energy. So a lot of times it is talking about literally finances, material possessions, or values, or whatever the case may be. But it also can be tied to health in a 3D plane. What's filled in with the 3D plane, something that you can probably touch, something that's tangible, and also human beings, right? So maybe something is just not as secure, as stable. You know, maybe somebody could have experienced losing a lump sum of money. Just different things, right? Just different forms of defeat to an individual. So, but I feel like whoever this individual is, I'm thinking of strength as a virtue. But it's like this person is learning how to tame their passions. These individuals, I just feel like it's like learning. Even though this was a journey, like a bumpy road, there was different feelings of being uncomfortable and hurt, or whatever the case may be. But I feel like in the end, somebody is going to feel complete, content, whatever the case may be. You're going to possibly build, fall over, build again, fall over, rebuild. Now you're in a different version of self, who you used to be 8 years ago. Like, it's just life is what it's giving. That's what it's giving. Somebody that, remember I was saying somebody could be an earth sign, but like come off as like this emotional person, which is like nurturing, compassionate, you know, sensitive, caring individual, whatever the case may be. Or mother figures could be significant. Someone could be a mom. Something with someone's mom could be very significant. All right, there's 7 of Swords, so I most definitely know deceit and betrayal and that type of stuff is significant. I mean, we did come across deception, but it also had temptation on there. Maybe somebody could have experienced cheating in a relationship, you know, lust, whatever case may be, different forms of defeat. They could have experienced things within their family, being as solid, seeming as strong, and then, you know, seeming like there's no security, there's no trust, there's no this. But I feel like somebody is building up into a certain version of self. All these things that they've experienced. This is a strong individual. And I feel like this person could even possibly realize their strengths, you know. A lot of these things are not small. These are... We talked about the 10 of Swords here. This person, whoever went through these things, that was like the worst hurt that they've ever experienced, you know. Worst pain that they've ever experienced. And I mean, the way that I look at things, this is what I mean. Validate your feelings and then bring forth the enlightenment, especially so you can navigate more in a better space in the world, even with other people, or whatever the case may be. Even like having a more open heart chakra, because when you're still, sometimes you don't even realize how much of this certain energy you're still in until you possibly have a bad day, right? Or whatever the case may be. But that's what I'm saying. I just feel like all of what somebody's experienced, you know, the stress, the bullying, the aggression, the having to fight for themselves, and possibly people not feeling like people not fighting for them, or feeling like they haven't gotten any of the love or whatever reciprocated back to them or whatever in a way that they feel they can actually receive. And a lot of times this could be in a sense to where we can look at things like being open to receiving things, because sometimes when your heart space is hindered, and then you also have certain beliefs that kind of also encourage certain emotions as well. Because on my own individual journey, I realized that a lot of things that we do and say, we're always talking like we experience the truth before our very eyes, when in actuality, there's like other people's beliefs. At this point, I just know whatever somebody is going through, they will make it out of. But the thing is they're actively in it, it's possibly just like a lot going on, you know. But the main thing I can say is be gentle with self, you know. Try not to, like, see, I don't like projecting on people, so I'm trying to sound like, just take nurturing compassion. Oh God, let's confirm this nurturing and compassion energy. Two of Cups, it's a relationship. Seven of Wands. Maybe somebody is trying to love somebody, but somebody's like, they just closed off. Or maybe somebody is needing love, and maybe they're not receiving it in the way that helps, but this is just you need to provide this for self, because people show up how at their capacity. If somebody isn't able to provide something to you, like, you gotta lower your expectations, and you got to build self-worth. What somebody does to you does not determine, dictate, whatever the case may be. We all go through our fair share of things. You could be let me speak the language of the world, a perfect 10 out of 10, and still, yeah.
You need to get in the bathroom?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so this song is a channel song. It's by Melanie Martinez. It's called Pacify Her. It's like someone's perception, right? That's just what it's going to be until they have an awakening. Like, you know, so this message could be really said in many ways. I'm not sure who the querent is. It could be multiple people, so it can be in different situations and scenarios, and how the end all be all of a message can be for a person. But my brain is just that complex, right? So I'm just going to narrow it down for those who come across the collective message. Maybe you'll be able to take one message instead of me breaking it down into like these different ways. Stop lying with those words. Okay, yeah, so let me see. We got the Moonology deck. Yeah. And then I just seen the Fool as well. So yeah, okay, intuition in. So yeah, maybe it is about the confidence. Somebody's confidence could be significant. Okay. Any messages? We got a new start is coming. It's coming out sideways now. It's coming out sideways now. This don't have to mean everything for everybody, right? But at the same time, I'm sure you can always find a message in something, right? So it coming out in sideways, and I was feeling this energy earlier, like something new is here. Something new is here. But if somebody is already in energy of feeling gloomy, down, depressed, it's probably not going. They're possibly going to operate in a different energy than of happiness, right? But that's what I'm saying. In the end, it could be looked at as a form of self-sabotage, or you can continue to be gentle with yourself and know that you'll come out of these times and that you'll be better, right? Which I would encourage to look at it that way, because then you won't put all this weight on yourself and just be stressing yourself out in the world, okay? Bringing me back to what I was saying about truth, how everyone, well, I don't want to say everyone, but because I know there's a such thing as knowing, right? But I've been through different phases and chapters and whatever of self, even with like having awakenings, coming into different beliefs. Excuse my language. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm saying angel number 5 out here, angel number 2, angel number 10, which is in the reverse, by the way. 10, 11, 11, 10 could be significant. All right, 1, 2, 1. This song is called FDP. It's by Shorty Shorty. It is a rap song. Yeah. Okay, this is the Doors of Destiny Oracle cards. Love them. All right, let's see. On the back, instantly see change. A butterfly, and it's a pink butterfly, by the way. It looks yellow when I show you in the camera, but we got blue, pink. This just looks so pretty and magical. This is the door of change. Ooh. Okay, it ties to transformation, adaptation, transition, evolution. Evolution is like evolving, growth, transitioning, something transitioning into another. That's what I was saying. It went from the world to the full, closing out a cycle, coming into a new beginning. Type. Now, adaptation, adapting. Okay, which that Virgo energy most definitely is a mutable sign, so it actually gives that. But transformation, remember we was talking about that Scorpio energy, transforming. Ooh, we got the Door of Wonder. And I wonder, that Kanye West Wonder song. Now this is time to awe, amazement, fascination, curiosity, mystery, marvel. Like, I understand things may have happened in the past, but in your present moment, those things does not have to exist in this newfound version world that you're establishing, creating, whatever the case may be. You could, oh, I like that, because see, when I was talking about the truth earlier, we were going to talk about things that the world doesn't fully really can say that they know, you know, because they didn't really see it happen. Because based on the world that you live in now, it's based on realism, or like what you see, or whatever the case may be. I mean, depending on, like, if you're a spiritual person or you believe in magic and like the unseen, then that's different. But other than that, just going based off something that's like not belief systems and just based on what's like, you know, proof or whatever the case may be. That's what I was saying earlier when I was talking about people's belief systems. And when you get to a certain point where you're at that space of not necessarily religious, just really just in limbo or some child. So it's like, well, if you're already in that space, then you might as well not stress yourself out even more and feel like, okay, well, this is how life is supposed to be. This is how this person is supposed to show up. This is how I'm supposed to be. This, because a lot of that could possibly have been projected on you anyway, if that resonates for you, right? Now, going back to the other thing that I didn't finish talking about, was like, just because something existed to you, see how that's the yin and yang, that was something, they like similar but they different. Or without the other, without one can't have a child. Look, anyways, just because you've experienced it already doesn't mean that it has to exist going forward. Not avoid everything, forget it ever happened, but more like it don't have to happen again. The emotions don't have to follow you into this new chapter and everything else. It could just be a whole restart. Yeah, restart, reset. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. Restart, reset, as you transition, as things transform. Change is here. I feel like it's in someone's own power for something to be created out of the way, you know? Like, if you still depressed from 5 years ago, you're still going to be depressed. But even though it's going to go nighttime and it's going to go day, the bird's going to sing, this going to happen. And but to a person, their reality, their world, you know? So I feel like, be gentle with self. Maybe even try to be gentle with other people, okay? But I feel like the more love you show self is the more love you'll be even able to show other people. Not just because you'll be helping yourself feel better, but more so because you'll be unlocking certain things that you probably haven't done with self, possibly haven't even received. Next thing you know, this could shift something there within self, therefore with other individuals. That's probably where they get the before you can love somebody else, love self. And it's not to say people who are still like, yeah, can have love for themselves in some type of way and possibly still got some type of work to do, right? It doesn't mean that they can't like love other people. I don't feel like, some people look at it that way, but I don't feel like, me personally, that that's the point of the message or what it's saying. I feel like it's also highlighting look, this song is by Coi Leray. It's called We Time. It's like somebody want to have some we time, but they need some me time. Somebody want we time, the other person like me we time. We me time. But look, the love is still here. It's 2 of Cups upright. This could be same partner, new partner, past partner, whatever resonates for y'all. If this message is for you, I'm sure we can find a message in something. You would just have to take it and resonate for you. If you know you're single, it's probably talking about a future relationship, past relationship, nothing going on in the present. But if it's a message for you individually, then it could be a relationship with self. Thank you so much for the gifts. Thank you so much for double tapping the screen. Hey, we have 14.2K. Thank you. All right, we got Door of Discovery and Door of Patience. Literally. Welcome back in. Welcome back. Welcome to those who are new here. We got the Door of Reflection. Oh yeah, somebody gotta be gentle. If this is your energy, somebody has to be gentle with you. If this is somebody else, just try being gentle with others. Maybe even all of the above, you know, being gentle with self and others. As someone is transforming, transitioning, or things are transitioning, as things are growing, building, forming, whatever the case may be, even if someone does not fully see something. Because something could be hidden to one's knowledge. That's why intuition would be very vital at this time. Someone is closing out cycles and there's a new one that is beginning or right around the corner. But I'm seeing successfully closing out a cycle, a chapter. Even if you don't see this yet, this is to come, or maybe you're already here, okay? Look, Door of Nature. We talked about all these things, so just confirmations, right? For you in your own eyes. For those who were in here earlier, know what I'm talking about. Infinity symbol. Okay, angel number 8 here. Yeah, 1010. Okay, message. Oh, door of reflection. It ties to contemplation, rumination, deliberation, introspection. Somebody didn't open the door of reflection. Or it could be encouraged to open that door. Well, it's given sometimes, you know how people be like, oh, it's a bad thing to be in your head all the time. But what makes it a good thing is rewiring, healing, etc. That's the point of the reflection, right? All right, so we got the door of ancestors and door of protection. And then look, this song is by Olivia B. Moore, Heart Learned Abandonment. And in the lyrics, she said, my heart learned abandonment before it learned stability. Do you hear what I'm saying? But just because, well, actually, that is very significant. That's very important. But just because your heart learned abandonment before it learned stability doesn't mean that these things, doesn't mean that you just cursed at this point. You should have learned stability first and then this, you're done. No, it's like, I feel like going into one's chapter, into one's life, maybe it's about how you feel, what you see, and it's something deeper, not surface level, you know? Like how some people's beliefs and shit and this and that. I feel like it's something like more deeper. You know how they do heart's desires versus, you know, all this. Heart's desires is more deep. You know, it's more depth. The other energy will be, oh, you know, marriage, kids, yeah. But the heart's desires will be freedom, true love. It's just deep. It's just deep. Now, with the door of protection, it ties to security, safety, shield, preserve, guard, and defense. That 7 of Wands did come out earlier, huh? Because that's usually that defense energy, that protecting oneself, standing one's ground, or encouraged to stand one's ground. Sometimes this can even be a defensive energy. I think I said defense. I don't know. But like when somebody's in this defensive mode. Sometimes instead of fighting fire with fire, gentleness could go a long way. Because then when you uncover, why is this the sword? Why is this sword covering this heart? Why? I mean, that don't have to be a heart, but that's what I'm saying. So it's trying to protect something is guarded, somebody's heart chakra, heart space. And look, you don't just have a heart to fall in love and like whatever the case may be, or that's just not the only thing that your heart can do. When you have an open heart space, so many more things could possibly flow to you because you're more in that space of for sure being open to receive. So when you sometimes hear, oh, you're not open to receive, you will probably be thinking, oh, maybe I'm not, I don't look friendly enough, or maybe I don't look da-da-da enough. But it's more deeper than that, whether you got a smile on your face or not, because a person with a frown, it can easily turn, you know, upside down. A person with a smile, it can easily turn upside down, or because it's just something deeper. Door of ancestors ties to legacy, roots, wisdom, connection, guidance. Maybe somebody doesn't feel connected to themselves, to their ancestors, maybe somebody don't feel connected to something. Rooted in something, like they belong. You see when we was talking about the door of the ancestors, and the 10 of Pentacles is in the reverse. This song is called Send Your Loving. by Ama Louise, AMA. Okay, let's see. Ooh wee. We got the door of hope. Time to optimism, faith, belief, encouragement, reassurance. Yeah. Maybe somebody needs some reassurance. Maybe somebody is giving someone reassurance. Child, it could be different stuff going on. This could be a relationship with self or with other individuals, whether it's romantic, all of the above, you know, just someone's love life and partnerships. But I'm most definitely seeing a romantic connection, someone in a relationship, someone not in no contact. But I mean, if that's your story and you're in no contact with somebody and you feel like that message is, you know, that's your business. But this is just what I'm seeing. Yeah, now with the door of patience, here's a turtle. Okay. Endurance, perseverance, resilience, and steadfastness. Exactly. So I feel like whatever is happening, patience. Patience is going to be real vital. That's what I feel. That's what I feel. Any more messages here for the collective? We got don't let your past hold you back. Because y'all see what I mean? I literally just said that. Like, I said that earlier. You know, it was given just because you experienced it before. Y'all know what I said. You know what I said. Okay. This that South Node energy. Exactly. And when I was speaking of that North Node energy, and I was like being more able to receive. You know, you got that open heart space, whatever the case may be. It ain't about, oh, be stupid, da-da-da. Which you can never be. You can never be. You could never. Okay. Live, you learn, honey. You live, you learn. You experience, you do. You live your life. Just do that. Just do that. Okay? Just do that. But the answers that you need are coming. The answers you need are coming. This that twin energy. This that Gemini. You already know. Full moon in Gemini. Full moon is usually the exposure energy. Ooh. That makes sense. Because we was just talking about hidden knowledge, and then you got this. You just fall in love more and more with the reading. It's like a boom, I said that. Tonight. Only you can save me from my mind. That brings us back to reassurance. Woo child. Maybe somebody just needs to speak, talk. Because everybody can't read your mind. I mean, I know, hey, there's a such thing as, you know, mind reading. But look. Damn. Okay. Now we're going to do a reset. Well, not quite. I'm gonna just do this. Let's see. Please and thank you. Yeah. Taurus, a fire energy. Either it's a ram. Probably Aries. I know that Capricorn is that goat energy, but I was picking up on Taurus, Aries, or something. It says hold your vision. It's coming out in the reverse though, bringing us back to. Yeah, walk by faith, not by sight. You're going to walk into the world based on what you've experienced. What you've experienced has left you feeling in this space and its energy, etc. But it's like, don't hold on to that outlook of everything. That's when people are going to really be like, hey, this world is going to chew you up, spit you out. Going to chew you up, spit you out. But you got to let it go. You got to let it go. Because the thing is, at one point in time, you start off in this fool's energy, right? And the fool, it doesn't mean like, you know, it's just inexperienced, naive, whatever. And then here comes the experience. I feel like somebody was on this journey. Somebody has completed some type of something, chapter, some. And coming into this new cycle Jonesy. Shh. Ow. Girl, it is okay. She hit him new folk. Stay, Jonesy. Calm down. It's okay. No. You stand in here, girl. You need a bath. Some of y'all could use a spiritual cleansing bath. Right? Look, letting go. Okay. A new start is coming. This new moon. Going back to that full moon exposure, or really it's just, you know, it's full. A new start is coming. Will you be open to receive? Or, you know, will things continue to be like a drag and just so like depressing and other things? And if it is, that's just what it's gonna be, but that's not really the best feeling to be in while you're in the world. So this is what I mean by giving yourself enlightenment. Now that's freedom right there. Because no matter what happens in life, you're gonna be good. See, that's the depth. That's the lasting transformation and that surface level. And that's what I provide here. But sometimes it takes a person creating these things for themselves. And sometimes this just naturally forms rather than purposely trying to, okay, boom, I got my nail, got my hammer, do this, wrap this around, boom. Sometimes it's just living, learning, bumping head, feeling like a failure, rebuilding, that falling again, rebuilding again, hurtful relationships, change, apologizing, this back and forth, da-da-da. Like, it's just like a lot of different stuff going on. All right, this channel song is called 9, angel number 9, completion. Listen. Synchronicities. Okay? Now, this song is by Willow Smith and SZA. It's literally called 9. But it's like the angel number, the number 9. And 9 usually ties to completion. Yep. I used to think that was angel number 10, but apparently 10 is endings. But okay, which endings is still significant. It says, don't let your pride get in the way. There go that Leo energy. Got the full moon in Leo. Okay. This say make a doctor appointment, and we got 101. That could be significant. Therapy. Okay, look, because emotions are running high. Sometimes, you know, journaling, going to go sit by the beach, doing things is like healing, calming, nurturing, extending compassion towards self and others. You know, you've been through a lot, others been through a lot. Now, you have your boundaries. You can have that, you know. You do that. Nobody's saying throw that out the window. But it's just not about allowing these. It's just about accept what you cannot change. That's the energy of letting go. The past is already happened. Can't go back. Apparently you can't time travel and go back. So, with that being said, let it go. Move forward. Okay? Let's bring the hope back. Get the hope back alive. Some of y'all, you got hope. Maybe you lack courage. Maybe some of you guys, you building the courage. You lacking the hope. And you resisting. You got sadness. Yeah. I'm telling you. It says, allow yourself to feel it. Talk to a friend or write your feelings down. Literally. Okay? Something could have happened 5 weeks ago. Maybe 5 weeks from now is significant. Maybe when someone was 5. Like, or something about 5 is significant. 5 ties to freedom. It also ties to change. We got frustration here. Somebody like, and that's the thing. These energies, it turns into frustration. It turns into anger. But originally, it possibly starts off as feeling, it's feeling like you're being done in an unfair manner, or, being sad. Eventually, if you may feel like you don't get justice for those things, or whatever the case may be, eventually it's just going to be unresolved emotions, possible trauma, or whatever. It says adjust expectations and appreciate your efforts. Yeah. Remember we talked about lowering expectations? We got guilt here. It says acknowledge mistakes and forgive yourself. Go through experience. Oh, grow through experience. And that could, what I had accidentally said just gave me the energy of just going with the flow. Freeing yourself from how you think you're supposed to show up, how other people are supposed to show up, or whatever the case may be, and just operate in this space of being open to receive, which I honestly feel like that's just an open heart space, or whatever the case may be, because at least being in this open heart space, the energy of, it'll just bring you back into the space of flow. Now, this doesn't mean if you become sad, skip sadness, avoid it, no. Feel your emotions. That's how you're going to get through anything anyway. I know a person who does not allow themselves to experience their emotions. If they feel sad, they try to hold back their tears, and sometimes it's just not going to happen because you've been trying to hold them back too damn much. It's trying to release, honey. It's like carrying the water. Like, it's a bucket full of water, and then right when it reaches that top to where it starts falling over, somebody's trying to hold their feelings in again, and then it's just going to fall over because, hey, it's reached its full capacity. So instead of getting to that point, and a lot of things, we take things out on other people because of how they show up in life. And the thing is, that's the point of taking things with a grain of salt. Because yes, your feelings are valid. Maybe you did feel hurt, etc. But I don't feel like people intentionally try to hurt people. Even if you feel like they intentionally try to hurt you, people have their own problems, inner demons, etc. Now, is this saying, all right, accept the bullshit and kumbaya? I'm not telling you, well, it's just honestly not really letting something get to you, to the point of actually self-sabotaging in your own life, because you're the only one who's going to be walking around with these emotions. See, other people, that's probably why they created Misery Loves Company, not just to point out people who are miserable and they want you to be as well, but more so somebody being in a bad energy could bring about you being in a bad energy. Them probably showing up in a certain way that'll probably make you feel a way and show up in a certain way. But that just don't make no sense when you really think about it, right? That's when we can bring in the logical aspects of it, balancing it out with the emotions. So heal, feel all your emotions, accept what has happened to you, and, forgive, move forward, let go, get back into the flow of everything like you were before. Before you've experienced your traumas and your sadness and your pain, that's when you were more in the flow like ever, right? I feel like somebody needs to remember something. She said there will be no crying. This is actually the name of the song, is by Cleo. So, okay, any more messages here? It says you and your loved ones are safe. And it says it's time to release negativity. Ooh. Now, we ain't saying everything you do and say you negative, but we talking about, what, of course, waking up on the wrong side of the bed, that's negativity. Being in your feels, not expressing yourself, so it continues to build, that could be negativity. To others, or if you look at it in a shifted way, it don't have to be looked at like that, a lot of times. And this is not to make self feel away, right? If you're tending to other people or other people are tending to you, then of course we're not going to look at it like, oh, that's negative or whatever the case may be. But for self, you to you, what is it that I can shift to help me feel better? What is it, because of course, like, karma cause and effect, therefore consequences. If you upset, if you this, if you that, you still haven't processed things and you're still learning how to do. I mean, some of y'all, you carrying things well, but just because you carrying it well don't mean that eventually you're going to be at that capacity, So just like you and everyone else, or even people who you connect with and you try to date, or that you love and they love you, and you're trying to build something, work things out, there's possibly some forgiveness that has happened or that needs to happen. And, you don't move forward into a new timeline with the same past. That's like a cycle waiting to be repeated. A pattern. We don't want the negative patterns. But I mean, if it happens, it happens. That's just life. If you knew better, you do better. If you see things, if you're aware, I'm sure a lot of things will be, but that's what happens when you are still, awakening to things and whatever the case may be. And a large number of people would think awakening could possibly be in a particular way, but nah. It's just really simple. A lot of things don't have to be so deep and rocket science, but it's just like awareness, It can be being aware of how you show up. Because sometimes you'll feel like, nah, the problem is everybody else. And this is not to say that you're the problem. If you, just because I'm saying the problem is not everybody else, that doesn't mean just because it's not them, it's you. No. It's just more so how people look at things and then they internalize things and it gets capitalized, or, there's projections now. And it's just a whole bunch. That's why that's what I realize in my own reality, that we just be traumatizing each other. And that's what it seems like. It seems like the whole world is just misunderstanding each other and that we just re-traumatize one another. But then when you realize, when forgiveness comes into play and everything else, that's how people forgive you, that's how you forgive others, and it brings it back to like harmony. But with certain outlooks and perceptions and us internalizing everything and taking everything personal and not necessarily being as welcoming or handling things in a way that you will probably want people to handle with you, or whatever the case may be, sometimes we don't always show up in the way that we want other people to show up in, or the way that we feel like we are, And that would be live, learn, self-awareness, whatever the case may be, right? But not blame. It has nothing to do with blame. Like, I know these things exist, right? But we're not talking about right, wrong, blame. We're talking about accountability. Not blame. Just accountability, to being responsible, taking responsibility for one's own ... This is not about judging and then pointing the finger and like, nah. But when both parties understand this and then they try to come together, that's going to be the most harmonious relationship ever. No arguments, no nothing, because it's going to be overstood. And it's going to be something that's deep and not surface level. To where this will be, oh, we doing fine right now, but now we're no longer fine. No, it will be a consistent thing, This can be implemented in one's close relationships. This doesn't have to be so far-fetched and whatever the case may be, but it just takes patience, possibly growth, etc. Because what we're dealing with here is change. And a lot of times change happens a lot of times when there's like this awakening, this aha moment, or especially change within a person, within their, like, how something is going within a, whatever the case may be, right? Because sometimes you will think, oh, this person arguing with me because they're purposely trying to misunderstand me, or they're Some people could possibly be agitative and, like, whatever the case may be. We're not talking about that. We're talking about things that are deeper. I remember when I had came into this space to where I was so at peace that somebody, if they stepped on my shoe on purpose, I would not be mad. I wouldn't even feel inclined to tell them about themselves. It was crazy. I had two, I'll call it out-of-body experiences, because they literally shifted my whole emotional spectrum. Because I was just in this certain, it was this boy who I was working with, and I believe he was is it autistic? Because I was thinking of autism, which is the same thing, I'm sure. But he ended up saying that my aura was black. And at the time, I thought that meant like your spiritual ranking. So I was like, no, my aura ain't black. Whatever the case may be, child. But then when I realized a black aura is just signifying depression, other stuff like that, that's when I was like, oh. And Angela, that was actually crazy that he picked up on that, because of course a lot of people from the outside looking in, you don't really look like what you've been through, what you're going through, whatever the case may be. To other people, you could possibly look fine, right? So I was really just chilling. Bobby, you wouldn't be really able to pick any of that up, and I was still new to the job anyway, and I think he was also new. I think he came after me. So imagine you knew and he knew, and we both knew, but I was here before you a little bit. And then I'd be to myself, people, if I talk to people, child, I don't know. I mean, I am an outgoing person. I wouldn't say I be to myself or whatever, but sometimes I do. So it was like I don't see how we ended up really talking, but he was a very outgoing person for sure. For sure. I feel like it did had a lot with him being autistic. He seemed happy as shit, except like nothing was getting him down, honey. So, but yeah, I was just saying, so it was like, for him to say that, we didn't know each other like that, we weren't really talking like that, and that's just what he ended up throwing out to me, or whatever the case may be. But I don't know, somebody could be really powerful here. You could really change your whole reality, your whole everything. Snap of a finger. But maybe this is going to take, you know, patience. It's going to take nurturing and compassion. You know, whenever those thoughts come, sit with them. Don't internalize them. You know, sometimes thoughts come up, and then one thought, now you're having a bad day. Or now something is, now you're worried, and now this and now that, right? So it's just like, it's okay. Relax. And a lot of times, just saying this is easier said than done. So that's why it's like, okay, don't worry. You'll overcome this. And you may not be right there now, but you will. But until then, try to help yourself. Like, instead of watching things as possibly like rage bait and this and that. Because when you on a thin line, babe, you go from being a person that can keep it together, contain this, and that, nothing can get under their skin, to a person who they finna lose their marbles within 2 minutes and everything else. You know, you can, this is energy change. Like, you can shift. You're able to shift. It's not something that remains itself constant, whatever the case may be. What is that word I'm trying to think of? But y'all know. So it can shift, right? So I wouldn't put it past if somebody's trying to rebuild within a relationship, because the love is still strong enough. Therefore, it's still like potential. But the thing is, love, very powerful, like, right? But it also takes other things. If a person is not as aware, you, them, both of y'all, whatever case may be, the love could be there, but then so can problems and everything else. And I know a lot of people be like, for people who say they got the perfect marriage, perfect relationship, they lying. No, that exists, boo. That exists. Okay. It's just, if you start off in a relationship and then before you even get to build, or if you've already, whatever the case may be, like, what the hell I'm trying to say? My brain is going too fast for my work, for my mouth bag. I done already thought it, came into another thought, haven't fully said the first. Like, that'll be what happened. That'll be what be happening. Okay. So somebody could be strong. They could have built some type of strength, or maybe this was already within them and they're witnessing this. Somebody could be taming their passions or encouraged to tame their passions. Something about inner power, confidence, courage could be very significant. Maybe this is being displayed. Maybe this is the chapter, etc. someone's in. This is the major arcana. Okay, this could be encouraged. This could be the energy someone is already in. This could be that path, that journey of whatever that they're on, whatever the case may be. Somebody could be closing out cycles. I'm seeing achievement, completion. I'm also seeing the high priestess energy out here. So hidden knowledge, intuition, mysterious. I feel like somebody is getting through, even if they don't see something, even if they don't know something. Somebody is like still maneuvering. I feel like somebody is still being perseverant, or whatever the case may be. And maybe somebody is like at this point to where their emotions, the more negative emotions are coming up. But maybe somehow, yeah, nah, it's the negative emotions. You know, those are pretty much coming up. And I feel like you can just look at this as a sign to tend to those things instead of allowing it to consume you and then you operating in that space. I feel like this could be a sign, okay, well, maybe there's something I need to focus on. If I'm, you know, feeling irritated, if I'm frustrated, maybe there's just too much on my plate. And I do know somebody is stressed, okay? Sad and stressed. Okay? But just trust your intuition, your inner knowing. I know sometimes when people hear that, especially if they're experiencing confusion, etc., that could be really challenging. But that's what I'm saying. You tend to yourself in certain moments. You know, you're gonna overcome things regardless. Just like the other things that you've been through in your life, you've overcome those before. Especially when you thought, how will I ever overcome this? When will I ever be happy again? You've experienced this already. Now, to help you keep from going back into that deep ass rabbit hole, which I feel like it won't really happen, because this is number one. This is the first experience. Like, coming into the world, then you get hurt. If you didn't know any better, and if you move in a certain way and you didn't, you know, you don't see things in a certain, sometimes that's fate right there. Sometimes that's destiny right there. If you knew better, you'll do better. And sometimes if you don't, yes, maybe sometimes you'll bump your head. Like, you know, your ancestors done it. You done it. It's a thing. But you don't have to be the mistakes. You don't have to come into these new beginnings in the same gloomy energy, right? Because your past can hold you back. And you're encouraged to not let your past hold you back. Somebody experienced mental defeat. Something is very mental here. And emotional, of course. But we got the 5 of Swords and the 10 of Swords. The 5 of Swords is already mental defeat as it is. So tied in with the painful endings, yeah. Whatever cycle somebody has closed out, and I feel like this is somebody who's wrapping up this cycle. Like maybe it started whenever it started, and I feel like somebody is like wrapping up whatever cycle they're in now, and then there's going to be a new cycle to start. But you know, be patient and gentle with yourself, you know, others, whatever the case may be at this time, as you build, as you navigate, you know, within these transitions and transformations. Okay, whoever you are now, you're not going to be this person 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, just like how you weren't who you are 20 years ago today, right? But I feel like the best thing at this time is to, if there's a lot going on mentally and you can't remember something, then of course that just means mental rest, right? A break. Honestly, I just feel like somebody needs some loving. So this could really just be self-love, you know. Reflecting, self-reflection. Don't let your past hold you back. Now, this could be in many ways. Are certain individuals holding you back? Which I don't think so. I feel like somebody is, you know, being, you know, very, 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 You can look at that however you want. 1, 2, 3. Again. This song is by Leon Thomas. It's called Moments After. How's this person feeling? How is this person feeling? They could feel alone, but also understood, and they can also have anxiety. Or they could feel alone, and they could feel like they are misunderstood, and they can also have anxiety. Learn to enjoy your own company. Share your true feelings with others. And take deep breaths and focus on the present. Try meditation or stretching exercises. This is what these cards say. These are my emotion cards. And it kind of gives you a little information at the bottom for these key terms here. But I do know that main energy overall is letting go. Accepting what you cannot change. We got motivation on the back. That red energy, it says set small goals and keep taking action. Literally. Yep. And as you do that, because some of y'all, you may experience anxiety while you put in action towards things or move forward, whatever case may be, but you with yourself every step of the way, okay? You got yourself. You are a protector of yourself. You are not powerless. You've got it. Because I know somebody is feeling powerless. You're stronger than you think. You're more capable than you think. You just have to be confident in yourself. Okay? What is the advice here for this collective? Breathe deeply and visualize success. Okay? Because I could be talking to a nervous individual. Okay? Nervous, especially if you're in front of people, a group of people, a large group of people. Confirm more messages here for the collective. All right, we got disappointment. Yeah, so you guys have been disappointed, but accept what happened and set new goals. Right, that last relationship didn't work out, but that's okay. That doesn't mean that you don't have to try again or hate the person who hurt you, right? You live, you learn. And these individuals who hurt individuals, trust me, some people have been on that spectrum of being the one who hurt people and not, rather than the one who got hurt in a situation, right? Sometimes it's both. They've been the one that hurt and the one who get hurt, right? And sometimes it's individuals who's on that end of, well, I didn't hurt anyone. At least it's what they feel. That they didn't hurt anyone. And the thing is, you hurt someone, you don't have to look at yourself as like this. You know, that's the point of forgiving self. And I ain't saying go crazy in the world, cheat on everybody, unalive people, and then, you know, whatever case may be. I'm not talking about the crazies of the crazy, okay? But I mean, hey, I gotta give a message. I give a message. So I mean, so I just feel like somebody needs to heal from the past, do some reflecting. They could be coming into union with themselves, or they could be coming into union with another person. Maybe something is not as solid or stable or secured here. Maybe it could be a solid foundation here, but there's no security, or there's no trust, or there's just maybe something in the past happened with family, with lover, whatever the case may be. Maybe somebody is closing out this cycle, this chapter with these individuals, with this person. Maybe an apology has happened and there's a reconciliation. hold that vision, but not if it's one that ain't serving you or your highest good. She go by there. Somebody could have lost their vision as well. Maybe they had a plan, it was something, and then maybe they went, I don't know, child. Maybe they in limbo, maybe they stuck, or maybe they forgot something. I know you don't know me, you don't know me. The full energy ties to freedom, possibility, and adventure. Life is what you make it. And then I'm looking at this tarot deck here, which is the Magician on the top. And it's like, yeah, like you're the creator of your life, you know. I understand what happened in the past, but that's when you were living, evolving, learning. Some of y'all, you could have prevented a lot of things that you probably experienced, but if you knew better, right? So that's why I'm saying you got to take things with a grain of salt. A lot of people, they have their own inner demons. Nothing is necessarily, you know, no one's out to get you. You know, you didn't get the bad end of the stick. Whatever the case may be. Sometimes life just be life. But that's because maybe what our thoughts are telling us, what we are telling us, what we feel, how we are looking at things, what we feel that we know, what's our knowing, right? If their knowing is everyone is out to get me, they betrayed me, I can't trust them, that's going to be the reality. Versus a person who, you know, allows their heart chakra to remain open, because you don't just use your heart chakra to love people, but this can actually really help you merge in with self, you know. Being in oneness with self. Look, trickery is in the reverse. Ain't no tricks. And then if it is, you'll be able to see straight through them anyway. Yeah. But whatever it is, don't internalize it. People show up how they show up. It has nothing to do with you. Like I said, somebody could be a 10 out of 10 and go through the craziest things in the world. Do not let these things define, dictate, or stop you. Or change everything from the way that you probably were looking at it before. Like, see, from an experience perspective, your vision clear, pure, innocence, right? Then you start going through some things and then experience this, experience that. Now it's a little dirt on here and dirt on there, so now it ain't as pure, it ain't as this, it ain't as that. You don't see things as, you know, especially depending on what these experiences were in one's life. A lot of people went through their fair share of what they've internalized. Therefore, that's what created the trauma to begin with. Now, this is not to say that you internalizing something or while you looking at something it's just helping you to not be so closed off and just so hurt in the world. Not delusion from truth and everything like that, just trying to be positive, no. But just because sometimes, if not all the time, and when I say this, I don't even want to say that sentence, because I've actually started seeing things in like this shifted perspective. It has nothing to do with the world's truth, your truth, everybody's truth, but what someone knows, what someone feels. You know, that's the high priestess energy there. And a lot of times this does not have to be logic, and a lot of times it could be. It could be it's just right knowing, one's knowing. She said, if this is love, then it is unrequited. If someone is like, if this is love, it's unrequited. That's what they're going to feel. Now they think this relationship is unrequited love. Now it's forbidden. Versus a situation where they're like, okay, well, people make mistakes. We can bounce back from this. Especially with, you know, it takes two on both ends. Healing, forgiveness, growth, whatever the case may be. Then you got a whole different experience going on here. Whole different outlook. Therefore, a whole different, like, a lot of more things could happen getting built or seen in that particular way rather than everything else. That's what's going to keep the heart hindered, this and that. Sometimes people can be right in their theories and their feelings and everything else, but sometimes it's just a hindered heart space talking. This song is called Will I See You Again by These Sacred Souls. I had a taste of your love the other day. Just can't get enough. Okay, now for, like I said, y'all can still compare this to like a relationship, but the end all be all does not have to just be surrounding this relationship, because it's like day-to-day stuff. So somebody could be in a relationship and maybe there's things going on in there, but you can still apply that to whatever's going on, because a lot of these things, yes, it can take two, but at the end of the day, love this song. When I see you again. Yeah. It says a personal issue reaches resolution, and then what comes out behind that is conclusions are within reach. Literally. Sometimes you'll read a message, okay, this card first, then this card, then this. But it literally came out exactly how it is. You can switch or rule it if you want, but this one came out first, then this. It's saying a personal issue reaches resolution, conclusions are within reach. And this coming out, it just makes me feel like something is literally in one's own hands. It's in one's own power. If you don't see something in a certain way, then it won't be seen in that way. If you can't get out of your own negative emotions, then you're just going to be there, you know. So I feel like this is going to take on one's own end, which of course may take patience, nurturing. Maybe whatever this result or reward is, it's not going to happen overnight, or maybe it hasn't happened overnight. Maybe somebody's been on this journey for a while, but I feel like somebody is right at the ending of one chapter, or ending of whatever this chapter is. You know, a new start is coming. Just don't let your past hold you back. Somebody been going into things with doubt and all this because due to mental defeat and everything like that. But that's what I'm saying. Nurture and compassion. Sometimes you got to get out your own head. Sometimes you got to abandon your thoughts. Be like, you know what? Especially if it's just stressing you out at the end of the day, or whatever the case may be. Because if all you're thinking of is, and maybe, let's see, confirm this Five of Swords energy. Because sometimes it's the people, let's see. Okay, yeah, it says you're very close to achieving your goal. I think you want it to come out in the reverse. So going about something in this way, you won't be really that close to achieving your goal, because what's consistently on your mind, like say for instance, if you're trying to start again with a family member or a lover, but all that's on your mind is the past betrayal or whatever the case may be, right? Making you feel like you lack, like you doubt something good happening or blooming or being successful. So if you're already doubting something, it's already ending before it even starts. Get a chance to start, you know. So that's what makes it be in this space of, yeah, you were very close to achieving your goal, but now this is becoming a bit more delayed or opposite. But this is just an example, right? Somebody actually, real life situation could involve this. But that was an example I had on the top of my dome. I may pull some of these cards that I had written. I'm going to use the Oracle of the Night deck, even though it's not nighttime. But see, that's what happens when you make the rules in your own life, when you're the magician in your own reality. Something said, okay, this is the Oracle of the Night. This is for the nighttime. You can shift and change that whenever you want. Okay, well, I'm going to use it for the daytime today. Okay, you know what? I'm going to wake up, have some tea, and I'm going to, smile. I'm going to go out to nature and just enjoy it. For the first time, I'm going to try to get out of my own head, because it actually ruins my day before it even starts. right? Look, we got disagreement. Yeah, so there could be some type of disagreement. I'm saying people just got to talk things out, whatever is on one's heart. Okay, we got Cancer energy here. Cancer is tying to home and family, as well as nurturing. Okay, usually Cancers are born between June 22nd and July 22nd. Okay, happy birthday to the Cancers. Now it says the Cancer usually ties to the crab energy. It also ties to maternal, intuitive, creative, heightened, defensive. Okay, now with the crab energy, it can exist in both emotional and material realms. All right, Cancers usually enjoys travel, being in communities with lots of people, and living near bodies of water. And you know that body of water was calling out to me. That's why I kept saying the beach. Cancers can come off as sensitive, romantic, feminine, and domestic. Or it can tie to domestic. You know, domestic usually ties to family. Cry. Cancer came out again with happy. Remember the channel song was Happy by Ashanti? Behind that is interest. Behind that is embarrassed. And then instability. So I just feel like I said, somebody showed up in a certain way. At first, the energy, of course, was possibly a more positive one. And then, you know, with one's own actions and free will, whatever happened. And then maybe the consequence of that, which consequences, it can be neither, like, here, right, good, bad. That's our interpretations of what good and bad is. Okay. And then we got embarrassed here. And then we got instability. So all of these could be quite literal. We got Cancer energy, happy, interest, embarrassed, instability. And how I was looking at it was like in order. Not too specific, but just based on what the message I was already picking up on anyway. Like, of course, starting off in this certain energy. And then indulging, whatever the case may be. Next thing you know, it probably brings about some unwanted, uncomfortable energy or whatever the case may be. And then there you go. That's when it go downhill. Look, we got erotic here. Okay, it says arouse sexual desire or excitement. Okay, we got disagreement. So when it comes to ones like, yeah, we got Leo. This song is called Scars to Your Beautiful by Alessia Cara. But Leo, we talked about that earlier, tied to heart-centered and leadership. Leos are typically born between July 23rd through August 22nd. The zodiac sign that they have is the animal is the lion. Okay, Leo energy can tie to passionate, loyal, dramatic leaders. Enjoys being the center of attention. Okay, heavy on the passionate. All right, fun, loving energy, creative, courageous. This energy also ties to regality, regality, because I can't read my own handwriting. All right, also ties to light, love, confidence, generous, loyal, and bold action. Actually very beautiful of Leo energy, because usually when you hear Leo energy, it mainly highlights the being the center of attention type energy. So it's giving someone is not as shallow, egocentric as one thinks, but maybe they do come off as this individual who likes to be in the limelight, thinks about them. Sometimes you never even know that that's your character until you actually see yourself in real time enjoying those things and experiencing that it could possibly get taken away, and you don't want that. All right, a message is here for the collective. Embarrassed. Okay, maybe this person embarrassed you. Maybe you've embarrassed them. Maybe you got embarrassed, right? Because like I said, this doesn't have to just tie to one situation, romantic connection. But it can still talk about what one experienced in their own love life with their close counterparts, like romantic connections, platonic connections, right? And it can even also just talk about self, how you've been, what you've been experiencing in life, with whatever the case may be. So take it how it resonates. It could be your energy. It could be another person. What else? Any more messages here for this collective? We got overwhelmed. So somebody can most definitely be overwhelmed. if you look at it from a certain way, it looks like it's coming out in the reverse. So I guess point of views most definitely could be significant. Remember, we talked about the shift of perspectives. If you have a certain point of view or a perception of one's reality that this person is bad, rather than no, this person just possibly does bad things, right? It's two different ways of viewing something. So that's just what I'm saying. Like, I just feel like that is very significant, how one views something. Any more messages here for the collective? There go that Cancerian energy again. All right, I'm just trying to set these a certain way so we can really. Okay, we got Cancer out here, Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo. This song is called Reasons. The reason why it's not up as much is because I post these on YouTube. So yes, this video will be uploaded to my YouTube, especially if you can't stay for long. 144 on the clock. YouTube likes to copyright your videos and basically shadow ban it from being watched. So that's why my music don't really be that loud, especially if it's non-instrumental. Now this song is once again called Reason. Not Reasons, but Reason, by Odile and Elijah Fox. Okay, the heat could be very significant, like maybe an area that's really like hot, maybe somebody's dog in the heat, something about heat, okay, or hot. Somebody could be very physically attractive, sexually desired, whatever the case may be, especially by whoever this individual is. Maybe somebody doesn't see how much somebody loves, like, care about them, whatever it can be. Government. I just seen a card that said government, but this could be a connection that many people don't really know about, right? Sometimes, I remember when I was going to school, I remember I was going to school and people used to say some government, like that's good. They used to kind of come off like it was like confidential or whatever the case may be. So speaking of something that's, you know, so that's why I was getting that energy from when I had channeled the government. But government, it can even be other things, like, you know, there's government assistance like food stamps and WIC and, you know, housing, stuff like that. Government jobs could be a thing. Federal, FBI, or police officers, or city of whatever, different stuff, right? Whatever it may mean to you, if it means anything to you. Government. I know sometimes when doing readings, you can also look at it as worldwide, worldview, like issues, what's going on in the overall world, rather than one's own personal individual life. Tarot is very broad, so you can always get many like different types of messages here. That's why I be like, take what resonates for you guys, because, you know, 1 minute you get this reading, you may be looking at it in a certain way. The next thing you know, 2 months later, something happens within the government system or a situation or whatever the case may be that affects the world overall, and you can get a message out of that from there. You know, there we go again with the perceptions, how you're viewing something, how you're looking at something. Somebody can view this as a love reading, somebody can view this as a general, somebody can view this as career. It's like viewing is very significant within this read, right? But this is the message that I had got out of many reads that I would do, could do, have done, other people done. This is what I'm just getting, but take it how it resonates for you. Okay, I was trying to organize my these cards to read them again. The World was the first card that came out, even though it's the actually last card of the deck. So I was gonna place it as the last card And I was going to do the high priestess first, and then, you know, strength, and then the world. But I may just keep the world first. I don't remember if the strength came out after or the high priestess. I think the high priestess came out after. Thank you so much for the gifts. Okay, so fixed signs, energy could be significant. Gemini, energy could be significant. Cancer, earth signs. I was picking up on the fire sign energy as well, even though I didn't really see any Sagittarius energy, but I'm sure it could still be significant. I was mainly thinking of like the Aries and the Leo energy kept coming out, so. But I don't really think I see any Sag energy out here unless I missed it with like the Queen of... It's the Queen of Fire Sag? I don't know. Okay, so these are different signs or elements that could be significant. And emotions, water, energy, yeah, did come out too. So pretty much all of the above, all of the elements came out. So yeah. Defeat. Yeah. Excuse me. Wow, that's literally a 6-card spread in tarot. So we got the world, the high priestess, the strength. Those are the 3 major arcanas that came out. And then we have the 5 of swords, the 2 of cups, and the 10 of pentacles, which is the minor arcanas that came out. So as I was saying before, somebody could be closing out a cycle. Their intuition is going to be very vital at this point in time. Or maybe something about their knowing is very significant. Their strength. Somebody could have experienced some type of mental defeat, betrayal, underhanded behavior. It could have been from a lover, a relationship, or someone very close to them. Maybe multiple parties, family, friends, romantic connections. Okay, I feel like somebody could have felt like a failure, or like they've lost something within finances or material possessions, like maybe a home, maybe a lump sum of money, maybe inheritance. Or maybe this is just talking about a foundation of something. There's a lack of security, a lack of stability, right? Even though we have the forming structure and solid foundation energy out here, now this could just be forming something rather than it already exists. So it really, like I said, all depends on how it can resonate for you. But that was me just calling out things in a less, you know, in a more biased way. But of course, the message that we had got was that you guys are, well, it's no need to repeat, right? I be heavy on repeating everything. So step outside of your comfort zone. Okay, reflect. Maybe you will see how something could shift, because conclusions are within reach. Conclusions are within reach. It says a personal issue reaches resolution, which is like resolve or whatever the case may be, with this full moon in Cancer. And then after that was the conclusions are within reach. So a personal issue reaches resolution. Maybe somebody, there was a personal issue that they had and they no longer have that issue, or they no longer will have that issue, because conclusions are within reach as well for some, rather than just as if it already had happened. For some of you guys, you're actively experiencing this, while others, there's still pieces being formed. Like, everybody is different, but still overall you're still in this certain journey, this fool's journey. This song is from the Vampire Diaries. It's called Hunger by Ross Copperman. This most definitely gives a romantic song. So I do know for a lot of you guys, this is most definitely, is not limited from your love life. And love does not have to just tie to romanticism, but I do know for a lot of you guys, if not all, this is talking about a romantic connection. Look, soulmate. And then we have perception. We was just talking about perception. And then they was both reflecting each other. Sometimes when I see two things of cards, if I split the deck like this, boom, and then I got quest over here and then soulmate over here, I connect them together, you know, whether this one come first and then this one, or whatever the case may be, or both. But you can also look at these messages individually. They don't have to go hand in hand with what you split, right? But I just do what I feel called to do in that moment, intuitively, or whatever the case may be. So we got the emotions out here earlier as well. Frustration, sadness. But I am seeing that someone is being understood. If not right now, in the future, one will. Maybe this even happened like already in the past. Maybe somebody was understood in the past and maybe they're not experiencing that in the present. Maybe they are. Everybody's situation is different. Some people may be going through bad experiences. That's how they're viewing it and looking at it. Others may be going through, like, it seems like everything is working out again, or whatever the case may be. And for others, based on your perception, this is what's going to change your reality. Not actually something changing externally or internally, because I feel like whatever is happening with that is happening. But there's this other thing to where somebody, they are the ones that wave the wand, and then this is what will be presented before their very eyes, rather than something just falling from the sky, or like poof, boom, there you go. I feel like it's gonna have to take some type of action, energy, courage, strength, whatever, patience on one's own end to create this. And I feel like it's honestly just really someone's perception. So if you perceive this individual as someone who's deceitful, can't be trusted, that's what it's going to be. But if you look at the situation like, okay, I'm going to forgive this person, I'm going to trust, I'm going to, learn to trust them again, take my time. This is not, if you feel like that's what you want to do, because some people, that won't resonate with them. They're like, nah, I'm good. And then there's other people who like, well, I still feel like we can move forward and we can build and da-da-da. But like I said, it's going to take two, especially when you're experiencing a connection that comes with this type of experience. All relationships are different. Even if, like, say, for instance, a relationship with you and Tom will be different than the one with you and Jennifer, right? People are different. Experiences in relationships, like, different things like come about. Like, of course we know we're all autonomous, so we're going to be different, but I'm just saying the energy of a relationship. One relationship, the relationship with Tom was, it probably had its problems, but it never became domestic. Then the relationship with Jennifer, that most definitely became domestic, right? So it's like, so I just feel like before one actually builds this union and all this other stuff, maybe building actually takes time, the building and this and that, as you get to know each other and see different versions of each other, accept each other, whatever the case may be. That's probably what they would mean by certain relationships. It could take work, it could take actively choosing each other and like all this, versus other relationships that it's probably not as difficult, but maybe that's because there was individual union before there was like, or not even, there was just a success in some type of, and then when they came together, it was still more in that energy, if not magnetized, versus coming into, it's kind of like a high priestess, no, an earth angel coming into, no, a person coming into a relationship with somebody who is still evolving versus one who's already evolved in one of those areas or spaces. And then when they try to come together, it's kind of like friction or like a problem, depending on how both of those people show up. So that's kind of like what I'm seeing. Like, either somebody could be resisting something that is like a new beginning, not letting go, whatever the case may be. Could be resisting something that's actually good. We got intoxicated. And then we have they are okay. And then what I had got from that was as simple as what it said. Sometimes a lot of things comes off to us in a greater, deeper sense. That's why guilt exists. Whole time somebody could be feeling guilty about something they did to a person, whereas that person doesn't even feel that sad or deeply affected by it as the person who probably acted. You know, that's like that energy. Like, it's like, this is what you're being presented with. So it's like, here comes panic. But it's like, in actuality, calm down. It's fine. It's all right. Or whatever the case may be. It's just, for those who resonate with the message, you'll be able to know how to pinpoint that. Look, we got loves your energy. Somebody could love your energy. The past also could be significant. Maybe this could be somebody from the past. We got joys coming out in the reverse. So like I said, somebody is not happy. Somebody is not at joy. Maybe sometimes they could have these streaks or moments where they smile or laugh or, you know, get into like this certain feeling. But to actually make this a little bit more secure and stable, maybe do some work surrounding this. What is something that could change your mood? You want to be able to be in a space where nothing can really get you down and out. And trust me, people can actually get there. Sometimes we always feel like things are impossible and that life has to be life. And when in actuality, that's how we perceive things. If we perceive that life is lifing, this is going bad, this is going this is going that. Whereas, say if you had the exact life that you had and the same experiences, and then there was like two versions of you in different realities, same experiences, same everything, but there's this more evolved, awakened individual and this more inexperienced whatever individual. So it's like the individual who's like the less experienced or whatever the case may be, rather than the more evolved and awakened individual, they will probably have a more hard time with those experiences, those chapters, whatever. That doesn't mean that they won't get out of it, but the main point is they'll have more trouble, more friction than the other individual who's possibly one with higher perspectives and, you know, a whole philosopher out here or some shit, you know, making resolutions, creating resolutions or whatever the case may be to their problems. And that's what living manifestors or living philosophers in a certain way of like viewing it, right? On the back is the Fool. Well, creating one's journey. The journey is here. The trees are treason. The sun is sunning. But this individual, how is this individual? We get the same two individuals, same person. It could be sunny, it could be this, it could be that, both areas. You got one person who's not carrying a lot. See, they're not carrying a lot. Whereas the other person carrying a lot. This literally is the full energy we're talking about. Walking with this, look, this ain't no couch. This ain't no, it's just simplicity. Packing light. So in this new beginning, simplify one's life. You know, maybe that'll keep one out of their own thoughts. Maybe taking time so that you can clear up these thoughts, or, you know, right when these thoughts come up, you shift them yourself. Like maybe actively, you know, do these things, like practice mindfulness, actively, you know, tend to yourself and your emotions when you feel a certain way, right? We got helplessness on the back. It literally says seek help or guidance, share your burden. It's not, I know we created the term trauma dumping, but that's what I'm saying. That's one's perception. When you perceive somebody venting or speaking on what's a burden to them as a trauma dump, then that's going to make you feel like, oh, I got to protect my energy then because they negative and da-da-da. When in actuality, if you shift it into a more compassionate understanding, this person is hurt, let me listen to them, let me whatever, it can go a long way. Because that individual who's operating in that space, their perception is caring or compassion, especially not just towards, like towards, you know, it'll be towards other people as well, not just towards self or whatever the case may be. But I'm telling you, the more somebody shows this energy to their self, I feel like they'll be more capable to show it to other people. But Yeah, look, recovery on the back. And then instinct is on the back. That's what I feel like that High Priestess energy could be talking about, instinct as well. All right, any more messages here for the collective? My phone on 22%, so this message will be ending soon, you guys. We got integrity here. So we do know honesty and stuff like that is very significant. It's coming out sideways. The definition of integrity is acting consistently with your values and being honest in your choices. Ask yourself, where can I stay true to my values, even if no one is watching? Okay, we got pictures here. We got people shaking hands. We got the scales. We got two people here holding hands. And that, remember, the unity energy, just overall still unity. But okay, any more messages here? Well, there's union with self or others. Look, there go the patience energy. Okay, patience says, the definition of patience is allowing things to unfold in their own time without force or frustration. And, you know, when you get this card, usually ask yourself, where in my life could I benefit from more patience? Okay? Patience. Any more messages here? There's some conflict. There's some arguing. We got curiosity here. It says exploring the world with wonder and open-mindedness. So somebody could be doing this, or maybe if you implement this, then maybe that can actually help shift your perspective around, right? But first, that will have to be implemented. That's what I mean by someone has to do this themselves. They have to wave the wand, and then that's how something will come about, rather than somebody just hoping, yearning, praying for something to be. I mean, you can still do that, but sometimes it'll take you actually shifting something. Now, with ask yourself, with the curiosity energy, it says, where could I be more curious instead of judgmental? Yeah, that's literally the message. Because sometimes when you grow up in a world where we always get defensive and internalize things, and now we're traumatized, sometimes when you see a message as such that actually speaks more from a diplomatic, harmonious, when you're so used to looking at things in a more negative way or whatever the case may be, then that will be your reality. And it's not because you're a negative Nancy. That's just because how you're viewing something. And then next thing you know, it starts to be a belief, you know, and beliefs are very powerful. And we literally were just talking about that earlier. Health. Yeah, a lot of these things you realize it actually affects your health. Now, it says caring for your body and mind through nourishing choices. What does a healthy version of me need more of today? Is the question that you can ask yourself when it comes to this health energy. Okay, I'm also seeing loyalty here. No, I don't mind a sober mind. So this song is called Sober Mind by Monaleo. Now, loyalty means staying faithful to people, causes, or commitments. All right, ask yourself, where do I show up with dedication even when it's hard? Okay, because sometimes, you know, you can give yourself more credit. Sometimes you will think you're not doing enough, this is and that, but you actually are. So acknowledge your accomplishments, see how far you've come. But also, perception is really important. It could actually help. It could actually benefit you more. Your perception, like how you view things, can actually benefit your health. It can either damage it or it can benefit it. And that's what brings me back to the belief. If you don't fully know something for surely, if it was just a projected belief, then why not be with the open-mindedness that we was talking about, that maybe people are not as malicious as we think, just sick, right? Mentally, whatever the case may be, from a hindered heart space, whatever the case may be. It happens. It can happen. Hurt people, right? Yeah, freedom. This is what I'm telling you. I feel like this is, yeah. Freedom says making your own choices and living life on your terms. Yeah. Rather than, and then she's just said, don't be paying attention to what he doing, she doing. And it's just given, everybody has their way of living and how they perceive things. Either you two are going to view it in that same manner, or you're going to be the leader behind your own life and beliefs, or whatever the case may be. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, it's affecting you. We all walking around here with the same belief as boom, boom, bam, this is that. Even if it was unspoken and it was just like picked up on from society itself, right? A lot of these things hinder us more. It's like sometimes you feel like, okay, this is the way to go in life, when in actuality, the way to go is your way to go. But what you know is your way to go is the way that has already been taught to you, projected, seen, whatever. But look, that's how I feel. I don't know how you feel, okay? But maybe it could be significant. Now it says, ask yourself, where do I crave more freedom or independence? Okay, and then I just seen equality, enthusiasm, determination. Clarity came out. Clarity says understanding yourself and your direction clearly. Ask yourself, what decision or thought needs more clarity right now? Literally. So this deck, I actually don't recall what the name of this deck is because it didn't come with a book. I literally have to use like a tie to keep them together. So I actually don't know the name of these, but they actually are meanings. It tells you like definition, you know, it gives you an ask yourself, and it's, you know, the key word there. This is authenticity, and then look, beauty, as I split the deck. So authenticity, the definition is, where in my life am I being fully myself? Ask yourself, this is what you ask yourself: living truthfully and being your real self, not a version others expect. Literally, whatever that means to you. To me personally, if somebody, I've learned, especially coming into a certain belief system, because at that time I thought that in order to be spiritual that I had to believe in what other spiritual people were believing in, because of course I was religious at one point in time, and everybody who's a Christian, we have the same beliefs, right? Jesus is the son of this, boom boom bam, you da da da, you go to hell, whatever. We all have the same beliefs, right? Outlooks, etc. So of course in spirituality I probably thought that it was the same. If I come across a spiritual person and this is their beliefs, then that's what the truth is, right? So I had to come into a realization that, to me personally, it seemed that I mistakenly felt like spirituality meant everybody, how everybody else in their belief systems and whatever, that is significant. But spirituality is just an inner. Matter of fact, I'm not even gonna say what it is. All these things were created by humans. Am I saying it's false? Am I saying it's true? I'm not saying none of that. I'm just saying at the end of the day, perception is important. If you don't fully really know what the truth is because it's just been taught to you, projected onto you, instead of you discovering things on your own, that's why I'm like, well, you know, it don't hurt to be open-minded, because maybe something could be a whole nother way, you know? Especially if this is a path of like peace and harmony and freedom, and, you know, rather than trauma, depression, stress, and, right? I'd rather be on the other spectrum than the depression and all the other stuff. So if this is how we can get there, by our outlooks on things and, you know, healing and this and that, then cool, why not? Now, beauty. Appreciating or creating what is aesthetically pleasing or inspiring. Ask yourself, where do I find or create beauty in my world? Some of y'all, it could be with yourselves. I'm gonna get my hair done, my nails done. Okay. Nah, but it can really be anything. Whole time you realize that's why it's really a grand thing being in your own space. Learning how to be in your own space, because then you start realizing things that you probably didn't notice when you were around others. Because sometimes, literally, you know, sometimes your mind is not as quiet, or there's a lot of things going on, because who knows, maybe you got an embarrassment wound when it came to being around people. Maybe when you tried to speak about how you felt, it backfired. Different stuff can happen, literally. You probably think you operating as the authentic version of yourself, when in actuality it's probably the more traumatized version, less aware version. It happens. When you see and realize that, you see and realize that. Some don't realize it until they realize it. That's just what happened. right? But you're not tricking yourself, you're not fooling yourself. Nobody's fooling you, nobody's tricking you. Life is just an experience, okay? And just nurture self. Try to, you know, see why you're so guarded, where your happiness has went to. And, you know, aim to get these things back, because I'm speaking to people, of course, who are beings of fun and joy and like this and that, you know. So this is not projection. It's really just coming into one's authenticity. However that looks for you, whatever that means for you. Sunflowers could be significant. Imagination, visualizing something. Some of you guys, you're not visualizing things, because for some of you guys, when you visualize things, it can manifest in your reality for surely, like literally. Okay, so this song is called What You Want by Late Night J. And late is spelled L-A. I'm sorry, L and the number 8. It's all capitalized. So for sure, somebody's past experiences that was filled with deceit, tricky, whatever the case may be, it's still most definitely affecting them in today's time. I don't feel like it's fully affecting their relationships, but I mean, it could be, especially if it affected oneself, and then oneself has still not healed and everything else from that. Then of course it can trickle down into people's partnerships and everything. But yeah, the past most definitely is just significant for this collective, for surely. Maybe just remind yourself when the thoughts come up and everything, you know, remind yourself, okay, let me process this, let me not internalize this. Okay, everything is fine, everything is okay. Like, you know, stuff like that. That'll really help you. You know, I'm here to help. I will be called an earth angel, a starseed in many people's languages. But before we can help any and everybody else, we most definitely gotta help self. We can still help other people, but you know, next thing you know, you don't get to this point of feeling like nobody's pouring into your cup and this and that, when in actuality you pour into your cup, because not everybody is able to pour into you how you will be able to pour into you. And that don't mean hate them and despise them for it, because like I said, a lot of people are able to show up in a certain way based on their level of capacity. If somebody doesn't have the emotional capacity to tend to you, to pour into you, they could be emotionally withdrawn, they could be this shit, you could be emotionally withdrawn, right? It's just, it's like not able to happen, you know. So it's not like something being done on purpose. This song is by NBA Youngboy. It's called Self-Control. Literally. We literally talking about it, bro. So I feel like whether this is individual, union with others, same message still gonna apply. It's not about invalidating your feelings and self-sabotaging and getting into delusion. No, we're not talking about that. It's just about freeing oneself, bringing in harmony. Peace. Because a lot of you guys, you're still going to be on this plane, experiencing, living. Why allow it to be in a stressful, depressional type of way? You know, that's all I'm saying. Back of the deck, we got flexibility, and then on the back of that is transparency. So with flexibility, it says adapting easily to change or unexpected challenges. Ask yourself, where can I let go of control and go with the flow? Now, some of you guys, these things that I have already said, you're already embodying that energy. Maybe you can embody it in other areas. Or maybe you haven't fully, you know, maybe there's still work to be done, you know. Josie. Some of my dreams. Girl, get out my mouth. Then you over here with this smoke at, little girl. I've been thinking about up all over the top. Now with transparency, it says being open and honest in communication and intentions. Ask yourself, where could more transparency improve trust? Y'all know that saying where they be like, oh, you saying I'm doing some whole time you doing something. Sometimes that be what it is. If you yourself are not showing up fully in like a genuine space and energy, you may feel like other people aren't. If you ain't all in, you may feel like the other person not all in. Whole time they probably all in, it's just you. Right? So that's all I'm saying. You know, just check your own energy at the door. This doesn't mean something wrong with you and that you're the problem. This is advice that we all can take. Especially when we try to come into union with people. Imagine both parties still evolving, still coming into awakenings. And that's how the domestic violence and all this other stuff get to happening. You know what I'm saying? Like, then we were taught to allow these things to hinder us so bad that we become traumatized by them. Now we victimize ourselves. Now we do this, you know? So mind you, that's not taking out validating one's feelings and experiences. You're still doing that, but it's just not traumatizing yourself and deeming everything in a negative light. Because of course, that's what you're going to do when that's what you've learned. Whether it was unspoken, you just seen it, or it's just society itself, you learned about these things, or, you know, whatever the case may be. But just look at these as like a teaching moment. Look, intelligence. Some of y'all very intelligent, very smart. You can really you'll be able to overcome things in your life because you're intelligent and adaptable. And a lot of many more things. I feel like this is not your first rodeo of going through something, but this could possibly be something that you haven't experienced yet. Maybe this is one out of many experiences that's come about. But I am seeing completion, closing cycles, achievement, intuition, mystery, hidden knowledge, courage, confidence, inner power, a personal issue reaching resolution, conclusions are within reach. Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, Cancer, fixed sign energy, Gemini, Leo. It's significant even though Leo is a fixed sign. Fixed signs are Aquarius, Scorpio, Leo, Taurus. But of course, many other signs could be significant. Many other elements. These are just the ones that I'm calling out right now. The moon is most definitely significant. Weather, storms, literally, metaphorically. Okay. Aggression, disputes, bullying, stress, conflict, arguments, soulmates, unity, close bond, spiritual connection, family, legacy, inheritance, foundations, higher commitments, especially in the reverse. Ten of Pentacles in reverse. Significant. Trickery is out here. It's in the reverse. How I took that was in the complete opposite of its upright position. You take it however you feel, however you need to, whatever resonates for you. Forming is out here. Solid foundation, structure, lack, doubts, closed off, being closed off, feeling closed off, guarded. I'm seeing resistance. What's also out here is awakening, remember, nurture, compassion, transcendence, unity, thoughts, and isolating. As well as joy. And joy did come out in the reverse. But earlier we did see Happy come out, which came out in its upright position, and the channel song also Happy by Ashanti came on. We encountered different angel numbers, channel songs, etc. But take the messages how they resonate for you. This video will be uploaded to my YouTube. We talked about hope, we talked about courage, just different stuff, recovery, you know. So that's pretty much the message that I'm seeing. All right, and I'm feeling a bit content with that. So I honestly feel like confirmation, you guys will reach a level of feeling content at the end of the day. That could be at the end of literally today, or just like I'm intending to mean it at the end of one's journey, like wrapping up whatever this is. By the time something is completed, somebody's gonna be, you know. But sometimes you can have the space to where you get back into an energy of not feeling as content, etc. And that's what I'm talking about, getting to the bottom of. That's what I'm talking about, lasting transformation rather than just surface level. But it's okay. Maneuver, take time, be in flow. Everything is already going to happen the way that it's going to happen, like based on you and your beliefs or whatever the case may be, right? And you gotta remember, timeless. Sometimes we feel like there's a today and a yesterday and a tomorrow, but then there's other points of views from other individuals that there is just today, night and day. Take the messages how they resonate. We got shy here. Somebody could be shy. We got abortion. Okay. Maybe somebody could be shy to speak on their abortion. Maybe somebody's abortion could have shifted them in a certain way, especially like making them shy or whatever the case may be. We got resolution. We just talked about resolution earlier. The definition is a firm decision to do or not do something. All right. We got hashtag determined here. Now, resolution, of course, you know, can have many definitions, right? As I knew, resolution that I was feeling like picking up on was resolve energy. Something being resolved. But this energy, this definition, this deck I'm using, whatever case, most definitely could still be significant. You know, take how it resonates for you. Oh, I know that. Now, this song is by KWN. It's called One Way or Another. And they spelled one as WN. Okay, very unique. You could be a unique individual. You could be an artist, singer, musician. You can have good taste in art, whatever the case may be. Somebody could be pretending everything's fine, pretending something's not falling apart, pretending that pretending, it could be anything. Everybody's different. There go that erotic energy coming back out. We got the Mars retrograde is significant. At times it was Mercury retrograde that's been significant. Now Mars retrograde ties to have patience. Ooh, it also ties to self-control. This is crazy. Like, we literally talked about all these things. So exactly how I wrote it down was have patience. Self-control cause this is, have patience and self-control, because this is a time of conflict or impulsiveness. I think that's what I intended to write. If not, exactly what I wrote was literally have patience, comma, self-control, cause this is a time of conflict or impulsiveness. But this is, you can always do your research on the Mars retrograde anyway. This also ties to, Mars retrograde can also affect actions, feelings, and motivation. Okay, it can occur every 2 years. Mars moves back in the sky from Earth's view. It's usually when it's, okay, it can occur every 2 years. Mars moves back in the sky from Earth's view. It's usually when it's, all right, sorry about that. I was reading this card and then I looked up and realized that my phone paused due to a low battery warning. It's on also 10 here, which ties to endings. Now this channeled song is called Fantasy. It's by Kylie Uchez and Don Tolliver. something about Bitmoji stories or Bitmoji Snapchat, whatever it could be significant. Yeah, you don't have to pretend. Like, the energy is the energy. You know, you don't have to pretend to be happy. You don't have to pretend to be, you know, not shy, not who you are. Like, you don't have to force yourself to be not who you are, or to live up to the standards of everybody else, or societal norms, or how you think you should act, how you think you should be. Even when it comes to belief systems, how you operate in your own relationships. Some people say, cut people off permanently, do this, do that. You may be a person that actually does not cut people off permanently. So it's like, either you're going to move in with your authenticity, which I say just go with the flow. You never know. Maybe 10 years from now, you'll shift to cutting people off permanently. Maybe because it was projected, it exists to you, or that's just what you naturally came into, right? Now we got Gemini energy. Here it says, sees life from a different perspective. Yo, come on now. So that's even to say that things that you've learned or picked up on in religion, or when you were spiritual, does not have to completely be dismantled just because you've shifted and grown in a certain way, especially if it didn't fall off on its own. So you can still be a person to feel this way and feel that way and still be able to see things in a different perspective. Because maybe some things that you picked up on in that category itself, there was no open-mindedness. That wasn't a thing. It was just, no, this is strict belief, this is this. So that's, if you just come into something that shifts because it aligns with you, or you just come into that, that's just what happens. But trying to force yourself to cut people off permanently when you know that's just, you're just not in that space. Cut somebody off, like, you know. So confirmation, we're not gonna feel bad to do things that we do in our own life. If we want to go into isolation, we're gonna go into isolation. Now, I'm not saying in a immature, whatever the case may be, way. If you're in that energy of being immature, then you're just gonna operate in that way. You know, maybe you'll learn from it, maybe, who knows. But look, low finances, Gemini, they're okay. So yeah, it's like, even if you operate in a certain energy that you do, especially being an earth angel, for those of you who are earth angels, right? Say if you spaz on someone, you'll probably feel so bad, so guilty about this, about that. And it's like confirmation to chill. You're just stressing yourself out. Forgive yourself at the end of the day. I'm sure other people probably forgive you more than you even forgive yourself. You know, even if they don't show that. Look, we got confirmation, a sign. So that could be a sign, what I'm saying, or this itself is a sign or something. Or maybe like whatever this means to you when you see it. We got confirmation. Okay. And then this song, she said, boy, your loving gives me something. This song is by Quendresa, Quendresa. It's called Too Much. The number 2 in much. Any more messages here for the collective? We got too late. And then we got the present moment, or any day now. It's significant. It's coming out in the reverse. So a time frame could be the present moment or any day now. And then it says too late. So maybe something is, it says too late. Something could be too late. It doesn't have to be, like I said, perception is a thing. But I mean, if something is too late, it's too late. You know, it doesn't all the time have to be like oh, that's a horrible perspective to have. If you shift your perception, then maybe, even though that's still valid, you know, shifting your perspective. So, you know, it's kind of crazy. Most definitely gives that Gemini energy. It's kind of crazy. But I do feel like, let's see, confirm more of this too late energy. I think I want to confirm it with something else. Okay. Look, we got misinterpret. Okay. Probably just one's actions, like responding at a certain point in time based on their own awareness, etc. And then it gets to a point to where it's like, well, damn, you know, I seen this message a little too late, child. I already spazzed out on him, or whatever the case may be. That's kind of what I was like just getting from it, but it can also be something else. But yeah, forgiveness most definitely is very significant. We got nonchalant here. Maybe also taking time before responding, like allowing oneself time to react or respond. I know when you think of react, you just think of instant, but you know, that's what I'm saying. The magician energy, rather than the norm or whatever. What's too late when it comes to what this message is? What is too late? What's too late? So somebody can already be in a certain space. Somebody could keep tabs on somebody. We got scandal here. It's kind of like the energy where it's like, okay, refine and shift when it comes to this energy. No toxicity. And then it's like, oh, too late. Somebody is already caught in this spider web of low vibrational energy. But that's what I'm saying. Just because something has happened already, or you can switch it up, man. You can switch it up. You didn't curse somebody yesterday. You can shift the energy into not cursing nobody at it. No. Left the exotic club one day. Now you can just, hey, call it a day, go into church, you go. Like, it's like something like that. It's just like, child, it could be anything. February is significant. Any last messages here for the collective? I feel like somebody had already experienced some things. So yeah, maybe it's like this is the path filled with more obstacles and difficulty. And it doesn't. If you look at this as a game and it says the difficulty level, intermediate, beginner, advanced, whatever. It'll probably say advanced or intermediate, something that's not beginner level though, or slight. But that does not mean that this individual cannot pass the level. Look, it says you are doing great. And some people, especially being disconnected from ancestors or whatever the case may be, disconnected from themselves, they may second guess this. The month July is significant. We got Angel Ambriel, Ambriel, if I'm mispronouncing it. All right, the month of May could be significant when tying to this angel. This is the angel of general protection and clear communication, okay? This is the angel of learning, intellectual capacity, okay? It's the angel of intellectual capacity and the angel of learning, okay? This angel can bring mental clarity, order, and harmony to thoughts, all right? This angel promotes inner peace. Now, I feel like some of you guys should work with this angel because this will for sure help. Maybe this angel is working with you. Maybe it's something you don't have to necessarily go out of your way and do, like a little ritual or something. I mean, maybe it can be like a practical one. Just, you know, thinking more positively, gaining more clarity on something you need clarity on within your own thoughts, beliefs, whatever the case may be. We talked about it earlier in another deck. Look, we got problems or issues. Earlier, we was talking about the angel number 5. In tarot itself, it does tie to the problem, you know, not enough solutions type of situation, questions, not a lot of answers. Jonesy, inside. And then there comes the angel number 6, whereas you get all your answers to your questions and all of that. So I feel like you guys are on that path of 5, but you're coming into 6 if you haven't already. And a lot of you guys, this is possibly not something that happens within like 5 weeks, 2 days. This is possibly something that just takes like, it's not really like a time on it, you know. There's no time, like a situation where it's like, oh yeah, okay, so it's gonna take you a year to learn all this. Now this is something that it can take anywhere between this, that. It can be a short amount of time, days, or it can be hella decade or 2, right? Or 3 or 4 or 5. Like, it's one's own journey. See, this is why it's not a race, it's not a competition. It's not really about that. It's just one's own, you know, you get there when you get there. You see when you see. So a lot of you guys, something can happen, boom, but I feel like maybe something has to be seen, known. Maybe somebody got to step into their confidence. Maybe somebody can't let their past hold them back. Like, it's just different stuff, you know. Just different stuff. Confirm transcendence, unity. Confirm this. We got loves your energy. I feel like this is you loving on you. It can be most definitely encouraged. We got deities here and problem solved. Baby, look, the deities solving your problems. Maybe you see yourself as a deity as well. I mean, hey, why not? Powerful being. Why not? And then it says a damn fool. Maybe somebody made you feel like a certain way for having certain beliefs because it seemed like blasphemy, whatever they call it, when they feel like you are worshiping self, or you see yourself as a god or some child. Patience is key. Yeah, that's what it say. Yeah, even patience with other people in their own belief systems. I stopped getting upset when people would send me these long chain messages about Jesus and like all this other stuff, or whatever the case may be, because I can even take a message how it resonate for me. I don't have to be religious. I don't have to do this. I don't have to label myself, because that's me, my own individual life. Some people, maybe they will label themselves and still be like, yeah, I mean, I don't mind reading the Bible. I don't care. Yeah, I know, I'm this, I'm that. You know, whatever the case may be. Knowing it's his. This song is called Trench B, because there's a cuss word in it. But this song is by Lil Durk and Black Youngster. So Memphis could be significant. Tennessee, Houston, Texas could be significant. And wherever Chicago. I think Lil Durk from Chicago. I don't know, but wherever he from. Yeah. We got they are okay. If this is tied to an abortion, this is a confirmation, this is your sign, or whatever this is tied to. We got they are okay. Because this is all color. This is red, abortion is red, erotic is red, confirmation of sign is red. Too late is the only card I hear that's in black. So maybe somebody was saying something was too late rather than something actually being too late. Maybe somebody had fell into this certain energy of feeling like away. So this is what it is. So I guess it's just up to one self to see something, you know. It's like, it's not something that can be forced. You can lead the horse to water, but you can't make him drink. I lead a horse to water. Does it know to drink? Does it know that this is water, that it will rejuvenate them, hydrate them? Or they just think I'm just walking them up here and we just standing waiting on the bus, right? So it's like the horse, they will come into awareness when they come into it. This is not something that can be forced. Like, you can always tell the horse, hey, drink the water, da da da. But it's being it's like coming into something on one's own or something. It's significant. Especially when it comes to a space of evolution or especially awareness is what I'm saying. Especially awareness. We got brother here. So somebody could be a brother or someone's brother, or something about brother is significant. Even like the slang, oh, brother, or something like that. That's what I thought of. We got patience is key. Maybe patience is key with this brother. Or maybe the brother is practicing patience, needs to practice patience. Maybe somebody could tell them about it. Because, yeah, confirmation, it don't hurt telling people things as well. If they don't know, they don't know. But it's other things, whereas you can tell somebody something, but they're still going to have to become aware of something on their own. Not by, you know, that's like trying to get somebody to learn math and they just don't get it. You teaching them the best way you can, but it's like they will become, they will awaken to it when they awaken to it. They will see when they see. It can't be forced. Even if you try to force it, it just can't be Okay, we got Gemini. Somebody could have a Gemini and Capricorn, a Gemini and an earth sign energy, okay, or a Gemini and a Capricorn. Oh wait, I said Gemini and Capricorn. I meant to say a Gemini and Mercury, or I actually didn't mean to say any of that. I don't know why I thought Capricorn. I was looking at it like a planet. But yeah, we got Gemini and Capricorn energy out here. Air sign, earth sign energy. Get them thoughts grounded, get level-headed, some child. Balance out the mind and the emotions. And that doesn't mean somebody is too much in their emotions. That just means maybe bring forth the balance of logic and emotion, or into like some child. This song is called When I Think of You. It's by Sonya. 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 All right, we got 2 cards coming out. It says exercise, and then it says you're the problem, coming out in quotations. Maybe somebody was told they're the problem. See, this is where the insecurities come into play. And a lot of times this is because somebody may have already needed to build a certain level of confidence within themselves. I feel like if you haven't built a certain level of something within yourself, or you haven't turned a weakness into a strength, it can be like kind of danced on a bit and interfere with oneself because it hasn't been established yet. So but this also, aside from that, this could just be significant. Okay, we got exercise here, and we have you're the problem in quotations. Earlier, remember I had told you guys, just because I say everybody else is not the problem doesn't mean that I'm saying you're the problem. Sometimes it's not about pointing the finger, but just taking accountability for oneself, right? Like, oh, I'm showing up in this way because maybe I have a trust wound, maybe an embarrassment. So it's not blame and like faulting and judgment, none of that. But a lot of times that's how we operate with one another. Little do we know. And that's the biggest lack of awareness within it all. But somehow we all be thinking that we're aware at that certain level, but then we never know until we get there. You know, that'd be the thing. That'd be the crazy thing right there. But that is the message, you guys. I do send you love, light, and all things grand, as well as your energy back to you and my energy back to me with the same energy that I've given out, which is love and all things grand. Okay, I do hope you guys enjoy the rest of your lifetime. Once again, only take what resonates for you in this message. Every message may not have been for you. Okay, this is just the way that I interpret the message, and not based on my own, oh, this is what I want the message to be, but mainly because also the confirmation itself is just pointing to that. But like I said, hey, I'm not here to project on you. I only take what resonates for you, as I always want you to do. Okay, alrighty. If there's not anything else that I can do for you guys, because we don't have time to do free advice or anything right now, but you can always send it to my DM. If you want to get on the list, you can DM me a message, or you can email me at thealliancespaceco@gmail.com. But I will see you guys in the next one. This video will be uploaded to YouTube. Take care, stay safe, and